If my travel history were an Olympic tournament, Singapore would get a medal in at least 2 categories. Gold as the first foreign city I have visited in my life, and silver as the second country I have visited most frequently. Over 10 times despite its reputation as one of the most expensive cities in the world. Yep, expensive. Ask travelers who have set foot in Singapore for adjectives that best describe the city, and expensive won't be absent from any list. But it doesn't mean that budget travel isn't possible. There are many ways to reduce expenses if you just know where to go and what to do. Hey there, poor traveler! We are Vince and Josh. Welcome to our Singapore travel guide. In this video, we'll share some tips to help you plan a more hassle-free and budget-friendly stay in Singapore. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified when we upload new travel videos. Singapore is an island city-state composed of the main island, 62 islets, and sprawling reclaimed lands. Its strategic location makes it an important and vibrant trade hub for centuries. In 1819, it became a British colony until World War II when the Japanese occupied the island. After the war, it was handed back to Britain but was granted more self-governing power. In 1963, it merged with the Federation of Malaya to form Malaysia, only to be expelled 2 years later, which gave birth to an independent Republic of Singapore. Since then, Singapore has catapulted itself to becoming a developed state. Despite the high costs and small land area, it has become a great place to live. It is one of the safest, most organized, most progressive, and least corrupt countries in the region and the world. Singapore has 4 official languages. Malay or Bahasa Malaysia is the national language, but English is the lingua franca. Most Singaporeans can speak and understand English and another official language. The official currency is the Singapore dollar or SGD, and although many establishments accept credit cards, cash is still highly recommended. Accommodations in Singapore are expensive by Southeast Asian standards, or by any standard for that matter. Budget travelers have 3 main options: backpacker hostels, B&B, and budget hotels. Because space is scarce in Singapore, don't expect rooms of generous proportions. Rooms are usually just beds with little space around it, and bathrooms are compact. Capsule hotels are also getting more popular. Backpackers hostels are concentrated in Chinatown, Little India, Clarke Quay, Bugis, and Geylang areas. Most of them offer dorm beds and double rooms. Budget hotels are mostly in Geylang, Little India, and Balestier. I have personally experienced staying in Chinatown, Little India, Geylang, and Tiong Bahru. While some are more glamorous than others, all of them felt safe. My Singaporean friends told me that Geylang is the red light district, but I have stayed there too and it was okay. When picking a place to stay, look at its location on the map. Normally, if it's close to an MRT station, you should be fine. Most of the attractions in Singapore can be reached via the MRT, but I personally prefer staying in Chinatown because of easy access to the MRT and cheap hawker places. Singapore is also a global transport and tourism hub. It is linked to Malaysia by the Johor-Singapore Causeway. Batam in Indonesia is also just 1 hour's ferry ride away. And through Changi Airport, widely regarded as the world's best, Singapore is connected to almost every major city all over the globe. If you live in a major city in Asia or Europe or North America, chances are there are direct flights to Singapore available. Changi Airport has 4 terminals. Terminals 1 to 3 are connected to each other. These 3 terminals are interconnected by a SkyTrain, travelators, and a link bridge. Only Terminal 4 is a bit detached, but there are shuttle buses that can take you from there to Terminal 2. If you're arriving at Terminal 1, 2, or 3, you can take the MRT to get to the city center. The Changi Airport MRT station is located at the basement of Terminals 2 and 3 but is also accessible on foot from Terminal 1. Just follow the trains to the city signs and you'll reach the MRT station easily. Note that there is no direct line between the airport and the city center. You need to switch trains to the Green Line at the Tanah Merah station. Single ticket costs 2 SGD and the journey takes roughly 30 minutes. Another cheap option is the public bus or Bus 36 36A, which costs only 2.5 SGD. It can take you to the central business district, but since it's a public bus, it makes a lot of stops and takes a lot of time, around 1.5 hours. The faster but pricier bus option is the airport shuttle bus, which can take you downtown for 9 SGD. To get a ticket, just approach the ground transport desk at the arrivals hall. For more loaded passengers, the taxi is an efficient and convenient choice. Cabs in SG are metered, and the cost from the airport to the city center should be around 25 SGD. A standard airport pickup charge of 3 SGD applies. Here's a quick summary of your options. As a developed country, Singapore has mastered the art of public convenience, which is apparent in its efficient transport system, clean public facilities, and strictly implemented laws. As a tourist destination, it is easy to navigate, so getting to one attraction to the next is not a problem. One thing I like most was that Singapore is a very walkable city. Walkable because if it's not too hot, it's actually a fun and rewarding experience to stroll around many key areas in the city. Their MRT system is also pretty extensive and reliable. There are over 130 stations along 6 lines. In addition, LRT systems operate in some areas, and more lines are being constructed to further connect the city. Most key attractions in the city are situated close to an MRT station, so it's quite effortless to reach them. If you're taking the MRT a lot, get an Easy Link card. This will allow you to breeze through the station entrances when taking the train. If you're on a budget, ditch the restaurants for hawkers. Hawker places will give you a wide array of local options at a much lower price. They abound all around Singapore, and most neighborhoods have one or two. For example, Chinatown has Maxwell Food Center, one of the most popular hawker places in the city. You are not expected to tip in Singapore. Restaurants add a 10% service charge to your bill, so tips are unnecessary. Taxi drivers don't expect tips either. When is the best time to visit Singapore? There really isn't a clear best time to visit. Each month has its distinct pros and cons, so it all depends on your travel habits. But in general, Singapore is a year-round destination. Weather isn't that much of a factor. Singapore is hot and humid all year. It also gets over 160 days of rain, spread almost uniformly throughout the year. However, November to January is the wettest period and May to September the driest. Events and public holidays can significantly affect your experience and expenses. November to February is peak season, so expect prices of flights and hotels to rise during this period, especially the days around Christmas, New Year's Day, and Chinese New Year. September is also high season because of Singapore Grand Prix. Here are other holidays observed in Singapore. Whether these days are a good time to visit or not depends on your travel style. If you want to see festivities, then go. But if you don't like the crowd, you might want to avoid these dates. If you're a shopaholic, consider June or July when the Great Singapore Sale happens. What to do in SG? A lot! Singapore may be small, but it is packed with all sorts of sights, attractions, and adventures. Whatever your reason for traveling is, Singapore has something for you. Shopping, culture, history, food, nature, theme parks, Singapore has them all. We'll be creating another video about our fave attractions in Singapore, so be sure to check back. Better yet, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you're updated whenever we have a new upload. If you need more information about traveling around Singapore, you'll find comprehensive travel guides with sample itineraries on our website, www.thepoortraveler.net, or check out the links in the description. If you have questions, make good use of the comment section below. You can also follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Just look for @ThePoorTraveler. You may also tune in to the Poor Traveler podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. That's all for now. Remember, plan smart, travel safe, and make every trip worth it.